Hello and welcome everybody. And today I am chatting to Stephen, and he's going to be sharing with us what has been his biggest challenge, how he's overcome that, and how that impacts on what he does today. Welcome.
Hi, Bridget. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me onto your show and for interviewing me. And also, you know what I want to point out to you? I really want to thank you for not asking me about what I do. You're asking me about what informs me about what I do. And I love that. Thank you.
Share with me your story.
My biggest challenge.
Mm.
I've had quite a few turning points in my life. So it's been a journey. And one thing I learned out of that informs me in what I do, because I always say I don't coach a program, I coach a journey. So that I recognize that through my life. A big turning point for me, if I can say, was I learned from sport, both team and individual sports. I learned about ourselves as individuals, and I learned about leadership. And that's why, and I took that into business, because I wasn't very academic at school. So if it wasn't for sport, I probably wouldn't have been there. And it was, but I took that with me into business, because I don't come with business degrees or BComs and all that. I went into that university, which we all do, belong to that University of Life. So that was awesome, because what I loved about it, not being an academic, is that if I failed, they never kicked me out. But they teach you flipping hard lessons until you learn. And that's where my learning came from. And from sport, I learned about team sport, how we are all uniquely different. But we need to focus on each other's strengths and what we're good at. For example, I learned from rugby, I wasn't one of those naturally skilled ball players, and we had them in the team. I had to work hard. I wanted to play first team. I had to train. I had to be fit, and so on. And then I was probably the ball fetcher. So I had to do the work. And then these guys who are naturally skilled, they put themselves a little bit on a pedestal, and we had a team chat who said, no, this is how it's got to work. You have the skill and the natural skill to go and score the try, but you cannot use that skill unless I go and get that ball for you. I also cannot sit on the pedestal as the ball fetcher, because I can fetch the ball and work my butt off. If I don't give it to the guy if I don't have the guy with the skills, who's going to go and score the points? So at the end of the day, we don't achieve what we want to without both of us. And I took that with me into business. I realized that leadership needs to understand their team, the dynamic of the teams, and what does each individual bring to the team, so that we can achieve the goals that we want to. The targets, the goals that we're looking at is a result of the team performance.
So no one's an island.
The focus is not on no. And I don't know, but you're 100% right, Bridget. I don't think, and I do a lot of reading about it, and just through my own life's journey, I experienced it. But, even guys like the Richard Bransons, the Elon Musks, the Warren Buffetts, they haven't done it alone. They might be the brains behind it, but they haven't done it alone. They've done it with help of people.
So would you say your biggest strength is bringing people together and helping people to see where they shine, because you've figured that out with yourself through sport, and also to see that we all add value, and if we work together, we can achieve so much more?
Absolutely. There's only one thing I will change in what you said. What you said is 100% right, correct. I don't help them because I don't believe they need help. They need guidance and support to go and discover what that uniqueness is in them, what they naturally do well, and how do they then knit that together. And I'll walk that journey with them, because it is a journey. It's not an overnight fix. And I will walk with them and guiding and support them and ask ask them and probably guide and support them and ask the questions to unpack, to let them see. They need to see what that hidden talent is that hasn't been unleashed yet. Some of them might even be practicing it, but because it comes so naturally to them, they are so unconscious of it. You know, do you ever find, oh no, I shouldn't be asking you the questions. Have you ever found that you've sat in a space where you're doing something and you look at your watch and you go, oh my word, I've been here for 3 hours. You didn't even know that. Okay. Because it's something that you just did naturally. You were so engrossed in it that you were actually unconscious that you were even of what was happening around you. It's exactly what we do with our natural talents. And so it's not just that, that's part of the process, is discovering that. The main part is how do we implement it? And I use my experience in sport that I took into business, and I use my business experience, and I need to explain, I'm not a business genius, but it worked for me. Okay. But I took that into business, and now I've coupled them both together. I say, okay, how can I maybe guide and support those people who are looking to improve their businesses, especially in these times? It's tough out there. It's really tough. Okay. And I think we need to.
But is it, or is it the way that you think? You know, because your perception is your reality. Okay. Okay.
So yes, it's tough for two reasons. Not just for COVID, not because of COVID. COVID was just intense, and it made it tough. And I say that with the utmost respect to anybody who has suffered at the hands of COVID. I think we all have, but there are people that have suffered a lot more than some of us. Personally, their businesses, and so on. So yes, it isn't easy. It is tough. I think where the tough I'm talking about that COVID accelerated is in the global world. It's because of technology. It's become so competitive and things are so fast, okay, that we need to. People are looking on the outside and saying, oh, but I can't get business here and I can't get business there. And then coupled with COVID, it's really tough. But are we looking inside the box in order to think outside the box? How have we optimized?
Yes. Because I resonate with that, because that's exactly my first thought. My first thought was, how do I want to deepen my relationship with people that I've already got relationships with? So everybody who's in my group, or pretty much 90%, there's maybe 10% that I've just met through the group, but pretty much most people I've got some years of history and connection with. And I thought, how can we work together to help each other, to understand the core of who we are, to help our businesses grow? How can we do that? Let me create a platform for that. So that's exactly it. Let's go from the inside, and the rest will figure itself out. Yes.
Yeah.
I resonate with that.
Because isn't the result, we can still look for that same result. If it's real, it's got to be realistic, of course, because we have to have an understanding of what's going on in the world around us. And especially with COVID, that's maybe made it a bit harder. So that figure might come down. Whatever that figure is, we need to understand that figure is only an outcome of what happens, the process here. It's a result of this, if I can say that, if that makes sense. But yet we're focusing so much outside, and on that figure, we're forgetting about this. How do we optimize the resource that's sitting right under our noses? And I'm not just talking about people that are working for us, even our suppliers. Have we brought in our suppliers because they have an impact on our business? Do we see them as part of the team as much as we see our key suppliers? Are we seeing them as part of the team as much as we're seeing our staff as part of the team? Our staff can be brilliant. If our supply chain doesn't support that, we're not going to deliver, and then we're not going to achieve that result we're looking for. Even if you do all that, I'm sorry, there is one thing that I've also learned, and that was through running, is that outcome that you're looking for is not always guaranteed. Are we prepping ourselves to give us the highest probability of achieving that outcome?
without being attached to it.
Yes.
I like
Thank God
that.
you're here. I wouldn't have found that word.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
That came, Bridget, from me running Comrades. There was a certain goal that I wanted to achieve. I didn't know if I was going to or not. I had a time that I had in my mind. And all I could then, so I knew it. I've never seen the finish line of Comrades. But all I could do was make sure that my preparation, that's where my focus was. I knew what I wanted to, but like you said, I loved what you said. I didn't get attached to it. I believed that I could do it. But when I went and ran on the day, and I'd done my best, I'd really trained hard. I made a lot of sacrifices because I wanted it badly. And this thought process, while I'm telling you this, is this is what I influenced this in business. Exactly what I'm telling you. I took that mindset into business. Is don't get attached, as you said, to the outcome, but prepare yourself as best as you can, because that's what I was in control of. I had full control of that. And on the day when we went to run it, I wanted to do it in under 7.5 hours. But in 7.5 hours running on the road, a lot can happen. It doesn't matter how fit you are.
Oof, that sounds like a long time.
It is. It is a long time. I don't even travel in a car non-stop for that long. So, anymore. And I don't think I'd be able to run even anything close to that anymore. So, but when I did it, what I learned from that, okay, was that's where the guarantee falls away. There's no guarantees in life, but give yourself the highest probability and the best chance to achieve your outcomes. And are we doing that?
That's yeah, I love that. I love that. That is, yeah. If you're doing the best you can, there's nothing more you can do. The best is all you've got, whatever that is. Yeah. So thank you.
And you know what that requires? That requires brutal honesty with yourself. Are you doing the best you can?
And constructive feedback.
Yes. Which we don't like. We don't like feedback. We like constructive feedback. We don't like feedback. I think it's because the way feedback is delivered. It's not the feedback, it's the way the message is delivered.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between saying, you know what, I think you could have done better at that. Well, I think you could have done that better. Than saying there's a big difference between that and going to someone, you didn't do that properly or you messed it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we didn't achieve that outcome, let's go and look back and see what could we have done differently and what could we have done better. How could we need to learn from it and not bash ourselves up about it or anyone else.